Welcome to the Elite Performance Team Podcast. Dominic Brillo and Dr. Jay Kaskowitz produce podcasts weekly with information in health and wellness, as well as guests on the Health Podcast. If this is your first time listening, thanks for listening. If you like our content, you can find more information on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes. Today we have Chris Alvarez. Hello, Chris.
How you doing, Chris?
How you guys doing?
Excellent.
Tell us a little about yourself, Chris.
So, my name is Chris Alvarez. I'm a gym owner here in the northern Jersey area. I'm a former athlete. I went to Rowan University. I played football, was an All-American there. And then I went to the next rank up. I had NFL tryouts. I've been to CFO workouts. I played in the Arena Football League. And now I'm just maintaining what I learned in the athletic fields and what I did playing and what I learned in school, and applying it into my gym and business every single day in my life.
Yeah, I've known Chris for like, what, 5 years?
Yeah.
I think since
No, a
day,
little bit longer than that, 2013.
6 years. So I remember since like day one, he's always asking me like really good questions. Crap. Like really in-depth, like physiological questions. I'm like, oh, crap. All right. But yeah, it's an honor to work with you for all these years.
That's the truth.
Great facility you have too. ATP, right?
ATP, yep. Athletic Training Performances in Cliffside Park, New Jersey.
And then it's you and it's also Sean.
Sean Bukowski, yeah. He's actually one of my best friends, like a brother to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually played with each other at Rowan. He was the other defensive end on the other side and also my backup before the year before I graduated. So it's pretty cool. We're all coming together, you know, two minds thinking the same but different, which is really helpful for us.
That facility is really nice.
Yeah, thank you. And we're not done yet. We are adding more and more because I think we have exercise ADD.
Yeah.
We constantly try to add more and more, and we just want to keep the people guessing. We want to keep people.
You want to keep it fresh too.
Exactly. People don't come into a spot and say, "Hey, this is the same gym from 5 years ago." I'm like, I think we're failing it for the same gym from 5 years ago. And if you're the same, I come in here, there's new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's technology and that's how the way that the industry is evolving and changing. You have to adapt and you have to change. And that's the same thing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of trying new things, seeing if your client base does like it. If they don't like it, like we were talking about these mobility sticks, and we use them for a little bit. They have their place, but it's like, do you need to get mobility certified? No. There's so many. There's a couple things you can use with them, but it's not like it's not going to be the core of your gym or the core of your program.
It's a good accessory tool.
Sure.
You know, just sometimes people sell you, you buy a bad deal, you buy it, and then you gotta go sell it online somewhere, and that's just how it goes.
Let's start with a quote of the day. Quote of the day: proper preparation prevents poor performance. Doc, what do you think about that?
I actually I've heard this before from a Marine. His name is Josh Marvin. He's one of our runners, and he's also he's the captain of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey Run Club. How you doing, Josh? And he said, piss poor performance produces piss poor preparation produces piss poor performance. So I think he learned that from the Marine. So I totally agree with it. If you're putting crap effort into your preparation, even just going over repetitions when you're doing an exercise, like Dom, you do a lot of functional movement and stuff and functional strengthening. If somebody does 3 good reps and then like your 4th and 5th rep suck, it's like your brain's going to remember the 4th and 5th rep. So then you build up these pathways of doing really poor repetitions instead of just stopping at like 3. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Chris, what about you?
It's such a great quote. Like literally as soon as you said it, I'm like thinking about my defensive coordinator in college. Literally was like, you know, the piss poor preparation, you get piss poor performance, and that kind of applies to everything in life, to be honest with you.
Everything.
I think everything, because it's about the reps, but it's about previous to the reps. It's about how much you slept. It's about how much thought process you put into your day, like how much effort you're actually putting in towards your goal, and how much you're thinking about it and preparing to succeed. You know, right now, what are we, 23 days into January? So we have those people with the new year, new me. You know, I think that a lot of people came into the new year saying, I want to accomplish this goal, I want to accomplish this goal, but what did they do to prepare them to get to that goal that they wanted to? Like, are they still doing what they've done the previous year, or have they changed? Like, do they have a strategy in place? Like, did they really think about it and actually put a plan into action instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to go cold turkey and change? Like, it doesn't work that way.
Or they come up with their like New Year's resolutions on like New Year's Eve, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of things that I've read in my personal experience, I start like coming up with my strategy, like what I want to do for 2020, like in October or November. So this way I know like what I want to do. So yeah, it's all about preparation.
On Monday was Martin Luther King Day, and I went to my gym. I couldn't believe it. Like, first of all, I had to go to the furthest aisle to get a parking spot. When I left, it was like the mall at Christmas time, people waiting for my spot. There was 2 cars, they looked they were going to get into an argument, they both had their blinkers on for my spot.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So I guess some people are still holding on.
It's a good thing, 100% good thing, but it's about applying it later to the rest of the year, 100%. They see that.
I think a lot of people go through a month.
Yeah,
Sure.
Get about a good 2 months in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then March comes, weather gets better, and it's back to your ways.
I think this quote, you said it too, this goes for every single thing, and we're talking about training and things like that. What about nutrition? Right?
Oh.
Isn't that the big one? If
Yeah.
you prep your meals, that's what you're gonna eat. If you take XYZ to work that day, that's what you're gonna eat at work. But if you don't bring anything, then it's, let me run across the street.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know how hard it is to like mess something up when you put your time and effort into it? Like, if you're putting hours in the kitchen and hours into preparation, don't you think it's hard? Like, I even do it. So let's say we spend an hour and a half prepping our meals for the week, like say my girlfriend and I. You know how hard it is to be like, hey, let me just mess it up and go across the street and get this. It's like, I put my time into it, I sacrificed my hard-earned time to do it. So for me to cheat, I feel so much more guilty for it.
I agree.
You know, I also, I spent a lot of time on social media doing comments, and I do a lot of blogging, and I think I'm on like 40 different group pages every day putting up, posting stuff. And today I actually took a hiatus. I just basically replied to a ton of comments. I'm on these keto pages, and there's people out there asking for meal plans for keto. And I'm like, it's like, all right, so obviously they have access to the internet, you know? So instead of going up and doing some research and preparing yourself and getting that base of knowledge to what kind of meal plans aren't there, they're asking for like the easy way. Give me your meal plan. Instead of just, you know, why don't you go find your own meal plan? Because I charge $275 a month for people who don't want to do it on their own. And that's fine. I'll take $275 a month, and it's 3 months up front, so it's almost $900. I'm like, for me to do exactly what you can do on your own. So when you talk about nutrition, that's a huge part of it. It's like there's so much information out there. You could just go find meal plans all over, see what works for you, and then this way, not only are you preparing, but you're actually, you know, once you do it yourself, it really sticks. Rather than somebody giving it to you, you have no skin in the game if you're not actually preparing for it.
100% right. You just have to. You need that preparation.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And like we were saying, with everything too, you know?
Yeah.
So you mentioned you played college ball and some pro ball. So who'd you play for?
So I used to play for the Philadelphia Soul, the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks, and then I used to play for this fall experimental league, which is like only ex-NFL players were allowed into it. It was like only the fall. It was like 8 games. I'm playing against Josh Freeman of the Bucks, a former first-round draft pick. Actually made him fumble like one of those games, and just a whole bunch of NFL talent on the field. And I got so lucky to even be a part of that. It wasn't even funny. And like, talk about persistence. I'm telling you, I did not stop emailing the commissioner almost every day till I got my shot. I was like, hey, let me in, here's my film. Hey, here's my film. And I got lucky. Like, I knew somebody that knew the GM's number, so I would text them. You know, I would be like, hey, can you hook me up? Da-da-da. So I did not stop until literally they needed to fill a roster spot. So and they needed a defensive lineman because one just got hurt. So I literally just went, showed up in Coney Island, did a workout, and he's like, hey, yeah, we're gonna sign you. You're gonna play this week. And I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't even planning on that. But just about persistence, like I spent so much money and time training in Atlanta. This is after college was done. I was training for 12 weeks. I was working out, had an NFL workout set up with the Browns and the Eagles at the Philadelphia facility. And as soon as I was done with that, then I went to like the CFO workouts where it was like private ones in Winnipeg. And you know, I'm American, so in the CFL it's a completely different game. Like you need to be either a high draft pick, or if you're not American, like they're gonna have to find a spot for you. Like, cause you're Canadian, so you can get a roster spot easy. So I'm playing the waiting game, and then the FXFL, and I'm playing arena, and then I'm just getting my shot, and then after that, I have a heart issue. It's atrial fibrillation. So literally, I'm getting ready for my big shot in October for a private workout. Gonna get signed hopefully, and then all of a sudden my heart just flips, and then they say, hey, because they used to cardiovert me with like an electric cardiogram, electric shock thing, the AED.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that anymore. We gotta fix you. I'm like, no, please fix me. Do it now. They're like, no, we're gonna have to schedule surgery. So I almost had like a TIA, a stroke, right before surgery, the day before, and then they had to schedule it another month in advance. And as soon as that was done, I literally was like, all right, this is like God's plan. Maybe I just got to do my gym. Because I did study health and exercise science, got my CSCS, and I was always prepped for this. And
yeah,
that's
you're a very smart individual.
Yeah, I was always prepped for this. Like I was a patient here, and I would just say, hey, this is my dream. I wanted to play the NFL or play professionally somewhere, which I did, and then now I want to open up my physical fitness spot, like a sports performance, regular people, because I wanted to change lives. Like I know how much it changed my life. So it all coming full circle, that whole heart thing was probably a good idea. You know, I wouldn't have met the people that I've met. Like I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if that never happened. And that's a byproduct of me chasing my dream.
See, it's a lot of people like in your shoes too. That I work with. Well, you know a lot of people. So I know a lot of the same people. It's they play high level high school. Then they're playing Division I football, and then they don't get into the pros. And they're like, now what? I'm like, you just committed about 8 to 12 years of your life training, learning about exercise, strength training. A lot of people go like to TNT, places like that. They get all this great training, and I'm like, well, why don't you get your personal training certificate, get your CSCS, and then go start training, because that's your specialty. I mean, if you want to get into it, you put in all this time and effort into it. It's not just that you didn't get to be a pro athlete. You're still an athlete. You have this huge amount of wisdom and knowledge. Now you could go ahead and turn it around into a business.
Oh yeah, I knew that 100%. Every single time I stepped into a workout that was different, or like just was me not knowing, when I stepped in there, like even coming here, I was learning things. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that, put it in the toolbox, put that in the toolbox. Like I had an amazing 12-week combine experience that I would never, like, I would suggest, it's kind of hard, it's a lot of money, but if you ever have a chance to go to the combine and do that training, go do it, because you're gonna learn a lot of stuff from it. Like I literally came in with like 8 reps at 225, and then at the end of it, I'm doing 24 reps.
Wow.
Like that's what people pay for. People pay, how are you gonna get me to X, get me there? I start here, get me there. So literally I'm going through a whole program for 12 weeks, and it's not easy. It's 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and people say overtraining this, overtraining that. I believe in it, but when you have a goal to reach, there's so much you gotta do. And there's only, we gotta get there. And you're with like-minded people. So you're doing position drills, you're doing your strength conditioning, you're doing your speed and agility, then you're doing your active recovery, you got your chiropractic work, you got your PT. So there's a whole, like a lot of things, like every single year I learned, everywhere I went. I was with the strength staff and the Steelhawks, they would teach me stuff. I still have the workouts he would send me. Like, you refer back to them, you say, oh, this is pretty cool, I like the warm-up we did, I like this, I like that. So there's like a lot of information that I just gathered through my years and just playing. And that's without even schooling. That's just playing, like what I did training. A lot of people, they didn't go with the same mindset that I had. They just went and just, oh, it's on the board, let me do it. Like I would ask, why are we doing this? Why? Like why? Tell me why. Now I understand why, so I can apply the why.
That's smart.
Yeah, I will attest to that. Since day one, every visit he came in, I was like, oh crap, Chris is coming in. Why? Why doing this? Why not that? Why this? Why not? Okay.
I think it maybe kept him on his toes a little bit. He's like, oh man, I can't just skim through the session.
So now what I do, instead of waiting for the why, I fully explain everything I say to every single person in super detail. So there's some whys, but they're usually overwhelmed with the amount of information. So thank you. You ever play with Tom Gilson in the CFL? Do you remember Tom? Did you go to
was
ETS?
Was he a wide receiver?
Yeah.
He was a wide receiver for the Montreal Alouettes?
No, that was, he actually played for the Steelhawks.
He was
I
got there when I was a rookie.
Then he went
to the Gladiators?
He went to play for Kiss's team, Gene Simmons' team.
LA.
Yeah.
And then they folded after that. So when I got in, it was like after all the other leagues were getting in, then I got in there.
Chris, did you ever see the steel stacks in Lehigh Valley?
I don't know.
They're kind of cool. I just ran a marathon there, and where they did the expo, all the steel stacks are there, and they have like, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like steel steps and then walkways where you can kind of tour them. I didn't, but
okay.
That's why I was just.
Yeah, I just kind of, to be honest with you, I was just trying to get into the stadium and leave.
I didn't know if like you would spend any time in the area.
No, the PPO center was in the middle of the ghetto, so it was literally like, all right, let's get in there, let's do our job, and let's get out. So, beautiful area though. Now it's like way better.
How did playing at this level help you in your business?
You know, sometimes I find myself a little bit too critical of the athletes that come in, because I know what it takes to get there. I know when the odds are stacked against you. I know how much of an athlete or freak you have to be just to get a scout to notice you. Like, I know that thing. So when a kid comes up to me and says, hey, let's say I go to Keene University, I play defensive line, I want to do the exact same thing you did, I take that personal. I say, are you sure? He's like, yeah. I said, okay. I hope you know it's not easy. Like, whatever you think you're doing here, multiply that by 5. That's how much you've got to do. You know, and I put some, my athletes, I'm very tough on the athletes that I care about everybody, but there's some people that just touch your heart, because you see, like, the family situation, like you see what they're trying to accomplish, and that's the same thing with me. So I'm very hard on my athletes that I believe can make it, and when I tell them the sheer truth of, hey, you're not doing your job, it hits home, and I feel like that is that's what I think is like separates me from a lot of people, to be honest with you. A lot of people say they care, they give you the same song and dance, but when I truly care, they know I'm truly care, because I'm all in. I can't be an all out, or I have to be all in, or I'm all out, that's it.
Do you find parents that have these aspirations that their kids are going to make it, and it's more the parents than the kids sometimes?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I have some parents that are like that, and they're never around the training session, so I don't really deal with them. But indirectly, I'm dealing with them through the athlete. Like I'm saying, oh, my dad's like this, or my dad's like that, and I'm literally like, listen, that's fine. And I think I shed some light to the situation. I say, hey, you can't really blame him, because what if it wasn't him? Like, maybe he's trying to live that dream, but I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you. Whatever you need me, I'm gonna do. You need to talk to me because you can't talk to your dad, text me. And I'd do that.
Sure.
If you can't deal with some situations that have nothing to do with the gym, I'm here for you, man. That's what I think ATP and me, what we bring to the table. We're more than just a gym. And like, I think that when you look at, oh, it's just a gym, it's just Chris, or it's just Sean, no, it's much more than that. We're a family, bro. Like, you are coming into our family, and we protect you. Like there's things that people just call us up, hey, can you move my stuff? Yeah, we're here for you. So it becomes much more than just like, their parents are coming in, and the aspirations of them. Like, we're dealing with people.
Yeah, try to create a culture. That's what we try to do here too. Basically, we don't just do like get people better and get them functionally stronger, but there's a whole mindset component to it too. that what they get from what we do here and what they do over ATP, they take it outside there too. So bringing that culture in your facility, in our facility, it also goes everywhere else they go. So it's like if you're teaching them discipline with what you're doing, they're going to bring that into other parts of their life as well. So it's a huge component of it too.
Like I get a text message 2 days ago, because after Martin Luther King Day was Monday, right? So Tuesday I get a text message. One of my clients brings her daughter, who's like 2.5 years old, and she goes, "Mommy, exercise." And so like she's aware that her mom goes, because she comes to the exercise. So it's Tuesday morning. She came on Monday. Tuesday morning she has to go to daycare, and she goes, "Mommy, I want Chris and exercise." And literally when the parent hears that, it's like, wow, like you are making an impact on them, and they're only 2.5 years old. You know, you're really relaying a message of fitness, you know, but you're also accountability at home if your kid is doing that.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just like, wow. And I got a text message. She goes like, she misses you guys, and she's just saying that to the gym group chat. And I'm like that's people you really want to invest in, you know, and they invest in you and they believe you, you know.
What's your opinion on like specializing in just one sport year round? What's your opinion?
It doesn't work. There's so much. I think for me it'd be boredom. There's only so much pass rush moves I could do. I love basketball, and I feel like playing multiple sports helps you so much.
Especially when you're younger.
Especially when you're younger.
I was just gonna say.
Especially when you're younger.
I mean, when it's a job, it's a job. But when it's when you're younger, I totally agree with you. I'm so happy you said that.
Yeah.
Right, if you're a sophomore in high school and you're starting to get colleges look at you, and now you're like, well, I'm not going to play basketball.
Sophomore,
No,
they do this like in like 7th grade.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's way too early.
It's insane. I mean, it's like it's year round. It's football. It's all it is. Or now it's like I have one kid. He's on 3 basketball teams. He's 8th grade.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, 3 basketball teams, you know, and it's like parents, a coach. So who's actually playing, you know, who's actually aspiring to be this phenomenal basketball player. And it's one thing, you know, football is really competitive, but basketball, what's 11 guys on a team?
Yeah.
So it's they're both hard to get into Division I, but it's a little bit more difficult to get into a Division I basketball program because you get onto a Division I football team as a long snapper, punter, specialize in something different, but you know, that's tough.
There's like 125 roster spots in football.
Yeah.
For college. 125.
Holy shit.
Compared to 11 in
Compared
basketball.
to 11.
Right, that's
So, like,
your odds are a little bit
I
better.
would talk to some
Insane.
people. And I'd say, you know, there's only like, let's say 11 to 15 spots on a basketball team, right? Like, yeah. There's 125 in football. It's like, do the odds.
And then besides the genetics of not being tall enough, like I'm 6'4" and I used to be the center of my basketball team. 6'4" is like, that's a guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's you played basketball through high school?
Yeah, played it. And you know a funny story? In my, so when you go to college, you do like, you know, you ever do that sleepover orientation thing?
Did a month.
Literally, yes, we did our Rowan. Literally, I was killing these kids that were on the basketball team. And they were like, "Are you coming to play ball?" And I'm like, "Football." Not basketball. But I'm literally pulling up NBA threes in front of, like, literally, and they were like, "What?" And literally, our intramural team at Rowan would probably give the college team their money too. Like, we were really good. But that just, there's so much that comes into play when you play another sport. Like, you're dealing with a different sport, a different goal, a different agenda, and you got to work well with one another. And if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, like it's football, yeah, it's the same song and dance, but when it's basketball, it's different. Like, there's new plays, there's new this, there's new that.
Well, Kobe said that the thing that made him an exceptional basketball player was playing soccer, because it gave him his depth perception when he's passing the ball really far. And he played a lot of soccer when he was in Europe with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So he said it gives a majority of his attributes to being one of the best basketball players ever to playing soccer.
I was just gonna say, Chris, I'm sure a lot transferred over basketball to football.
100, it does.
And I mean, that's,
There's no
basketball,
way, yeah.
when you look at impact, and I'm not talking about contact, we're talking about impact. Holy shit, is basketball a lot of impact.
Yeah, no.
You're jumping super high, these lateral movements, this pitting, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? When you stop and turn, you know, like,
It's jukes.
Right, right.
Like, I'm basically, you know what I always thought about sometimes? Like, when I would do a spin move, I'm doing it against the offensive lineman, or I'm doing it to get to the hoop. I'm using those moves all the time. And literally the objective is to what? Get by the person. So I did it in basketball, I do it in football, and it would translate. But I had to do it faster in basketball because people were much quicker.
and it's smaller court.
Smaller court.
Right.
And I would do it against the offensive lineman who was 6'7", 6'5", and I had to get by him.
And I think, going back to that, it's so important not to focus. So I'm a runner. That's like, I love running. Yeah, I've done triathlons, but I don't necessarily totally identify myself as a triathlete. I love running. Triathlon made me a better runner. Swimming made me a better runner. Cycling made me a better runner. These are great cross training, and they're so low impact that I'm not beating my joints up when I'm in a pool. I'm not beating my joints up on a bicycle, you know, and but they crossed over. And
It's also just like boxing too. Like, so to train for football. Like, I remember my year right before when I got my All-American status. I was a junior in college, and I was just like, I think I came here, and then you said that you were training some MMA people or treating them, and then you said hand-eye coordination was really good, like the boxing.
Sure.
So I was just like, you know what? Let me take that into account. And literally, I was doing strength training, and then I was doing my boxing, and then I would just do basketball for just cardio and stuff like that. And literally, I just felt a difference when I was in the field. It was just, my hands were quicker. I could see things. Like, literally, I have film where I'm catching people's hands. And that's all from boxing or from jiu-jitsu, whatever it was, Muay Thai. I'm catching their hands. I'm like, I never thought that would be possible. But then when I tell my athletes now, get into the boxing, they look at me like I'm crazy. And I said, it's okay, that's fine. I'm just trying to show you the way.
everything transfers, you know, and I think a lot of people don't see that.
I know.
Parents,
Yeah.
you know, baseball, these kids are playing baseball now year round.
I know, that's tough.
Pitching year round.
I think we have an athlete that was doing that, pitching all year round, and then you have elbow pain. And then we literally told the mom, we said, listen, if he's a quarterback, let him be a quarterback. If he's a basketball player, let him play basketball. He's 10, 11 years old. Let him, he's not even mature yet. Just let him do what a kid does. Which will help.
Tommy John surgery with young kids is, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
100% right. Because they're throwing curveballs at 11.
Right.
I remember the kid, his name's Deb, he walked into the gym, he's like, yeah, he told Sean, Sean trains him, he's like, yeah, I'm throwing curveballs. I think Sean looked at him and said, you are not allowed to ever mention the word curveball while you're in here until you're like 14, 15, 16. Like, I don't want to hear that.
It's bad.
Yeah.
How long have you been in this profession?
Profession. When people ask me that question, I have to think sometimes. I'm like, wait a minute. Because I did start really training people when I was like 18, 19, like at school. Like I was doing like a Get Fit program, because my little brother has Down syndrome. So I was doing like a huge like Get Fit program at Rowan. So it was like where we helped the disabled and the, people with autism and people in wheelchairs. Like we would do year-round training with them, where they would bust the school over. And they would come over to us, and we would like have 6 trainers and have a space like kind of like this facility, and then there'd be treadmills, and we just had to put them through a workout. And I feel like I gained a lot of knowledge from that. You know how hard it is to train someone on a wheelchair with one arm and one leg. You know, how are you going to do a workout? We got to adjust and we got to do it. And you know, we have our supervisors, but I feel like that I started at 18, 19, and that literally started the journey for me knowing how to train and who to train and how I can modify all the workouts for them. So I started that young, and I'm 27, so it's like 8, 9 years, I believe. So it was around that time. And then we were going to schools, doing their after-school program, because they used to cut the funds for gym class.
Sure.
So we used to show up there on grants and just train them for an hour. do games, do fun stuff, and like that's how I kind of do my kids' classes now. A lot of these kids come into the class and like structured lunges. Let me see the squats right. Let me see this. These kids just want to have fun. They're doing it right, yes. Some of them do it wrong. You're gonna try to teach them, but do it. Have fun.
Right.
They're not coming back if it's not fun. Like, I ask every single kid every time, like our little kid classes, you had fun today? They're like, yeah, we had fun. I said, I did my job.
Because if it's not.
But then I started seeing everybody else, and I'm just like, how about I get a great kid and make him an even better kid, and then hopefully keep him out of trouble, and just instill the work ethic. And I know how hard ATP and the training is, but after, you're gonna thank me. Yeah, that's everlasting.
That sounds like that's a unique place, ATP, because of that.
Yeah, that's why I opened up the business. It was about making a lasting impact, and I know because I opened up in my town. Like
you're from
I'm from Cliffside Park. I literally opened up the gym in my town for that apparent reason. We had nowhere to go. I used to drive 35, 40 minutes to go train somewhere, and these kids needed the training locally. So I'm just like, hey, why don't I open up in my town when I know the area and I know these kids need a resource like that? Let me open up here. We need these people and kids around the area to come, or even adults to come around where they know there's going to be a safe environment. They know they don't have to travel long, and they know they have credible trainers. And that's the reason why I was like, there's a need, and I wanted to open up there. And it's close to home. Like I grew up there. Everyone that comes in say, "Oh, you played against our high school." Yeah, I did, and I know the area. I know exactly what you're dealing with, and I was there. How much better is someone to tell you how to go through it than someone that's been through it?
Yeah.
And that's why I think that is unique.
For sure.
Yeah.
Doc, anything?
No, I think it's fantastic. Chris keeps it real at his facility, which is fantastic. He's honest, and the cool thing is, it's like I felt the same thing when I first opened my first practice on 31st and Park, and I'm from here, from East Rutherford, from Jersey, and worked at a bunch of other businesses as well, for other doctors, and I found the most rewarding thing is coming back into my community, because you could relate. You can relate to exactly what somebody's going through, the kids, the people, work ethic, ours is like a blue-collar kind of community, so you can totally relate to it. People could see through it too.
For sure.
100% right.
I worked in Manhattan, and I did enjoy actually being in New York. But every other part of it, between commuting and all the other stuff, wasn't really, but just being there, right? But working, I live right down the street. I grew up down the street. I was out running one day, and somebody's yelling out the window, and I don't recognize the voice at all. It's one of the clients from here. And it's like cool.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just something about it, and so I couldn't agree more with being more local.
Yeah.
It's much more fun.
Like I get text messages sometimes at like 12 o'clock at night, and people are telling me, "Hey, I just saw somebody wear ATP in Hoboken at the bar." I said, "What?"
That's great.
I said, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, I gotta get the website on there, or phone number on the apparel.
That's nice.
But just getting stuff like that, it's like, wow, it's spreading. That's all the way out in Hudson County.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But it's very good, and we work with some coaches that saw us play, like Sean and I. And Sean was a good athlete. He was an all-county too football player. Coaches that can say, hey, I trust you with our kids, I trust you with our program, were the ones that used to coach against us or coach for them. They're like, wow, yeah, I remember you guys.
Chris, Sean went to
Richard Park.
Okay.
And then I went to Cliffside.
Did you guys play against each other?
We did play against each other, yeah.
That's
And
nice.
he beat me both years, but in basketball we split, and then the year he graduated in 12, they won the state championship in basketball. So like it's kind of cool because we go up to like I said, we were meeting with Fort Lee or we meet in Richard Park. Hey, I remember you guys when you played against us, and you guys were hell of athletes. So that's another credible thing to do. Like, wow, like you guys were all league choices. You guys were the best in your class, so we trust you, and you know exactly what these kids are
Yeah,
going
it's a
through.
great way to build up rapport without even having to walk into the door. People already know you.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's awesome, good. Anything in closing, Chris?
No, just thank you guys for the opportunity, man. This is like full circle.
Absolutely.
Like just coming
Pleasure's
here
all
as a
ours.
patient, and he's like, "Hey, come on the podcast." I'm like, yeah, 100% I will.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
My legs needed it.
If you'd like, you can subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and iTunes, and please share it with your friends or anyone who may be interested in our content. Until next time, train your brain, train your body.